Kayla McDonagh, I forgot to hit record on the camera on the live stream. So we're just going to hop straight into later on in the stream.
Okay.
Where were we? So you haven't got a list. You'll kind of learn songs if somebody wants to sing it to you.
There's a list on the website, the set list there for people who need a hand. But I mean, some people will pick all their songs from that, and then others might pick a few. Some will pick none. It all depends on what the couple want.
And how many songs? I suppose church and civil then are
completely different.
Yeah.
Completely
so for
different.
a church, how many songs does somebody need to be thinking about?
You'd be looking at between 10 to 15 songs, depending. If it's a bigger wedding, you might need 2 or 3 hymns. At communion, you might need 3 or 4 songs at the register, depending again on how long the photographer takes, depending on how long communion takes. But on average, 10 to 15 songs.
Yeah, it's a lot, really.
It is, but you don't feel them. You know, let's say, for example, at the individual candles, it might only be a verse and a chorus, or even just a verse sometimes. The sign of peace, again, is very short. I don't like to put songs in where they're not needed, because sometimes it can disrupt the flow of the ceremony. And obviously, church ceremonies can be quite long, depending on the priest as well. So you don't want to make it even longer. You just want to, add to the atmosphere where you can.
And do you cut the songs? Because we see sometimes where, I don't know, there's something going on the altar, and the ceremony singer has a verse done and the priest is kind of ready, and then they do another 2 or 3 verses. Do you cut it, or
cut? The only thing I will.
Why do some
I don't know. Personally, I think it's better, depending on where it is. Let's say for the psalm now, I'd usually do a verse, chorus of the psalm. So it's pretty much a full psalm. At communion, I'd probably do 2 full songs. But for the little bits and pieces in the middle, like for example, last weekend, I had just finished a verse and the priest was talking over me. But I would always cut the songs.
Over you?
Yeah, it can happen.
Just come in.
Yeah, bless him.
Yeah.
He was ready.
Do you meet some awkward ones?
You can do, but
tell the truth now.
Yeah, some of them are very awkward, but at the same time, you're in their house, you're in there, so you have to work with them. And in terms of music, obviously, some parishes are a lot more strict on what type of songs you can have. So I have to be very careful on how I communicate with the priest as well beforehand. So I always find, when I'm communicating with my couples as well, before they even go to the priest, if I can help them pick smart songs and put them in certain places, then I've never had any problems, but some of them can be a little bit tricky. Yeah,
well, when it comes to church, is there a certain amount of hymns that you still need? What's the ratio there?
So, well, on average,
on your standard.
So your psalm has to be religious. Your offertory would need to be religious as well. And I would always say have at least one religious hymn at the communion as well,
just to keep them happy.
Yeah.
And is there nice religious songs? Or
you know what I always say to people, if you're not a fan of the traditional kind of hymn sound, then why not add guitar accompaniment, because guitar makes it a lot more modern, and it gives a nice acoustic feel. So that's why guitar is very popular for me anyways. Because it just changes the mood as well.
I suppose, do you prefer guitar or piano, or?
I prefer guitar just because it's more versatile, and it's very similar to the harp. So if someone wants a harp, then I would say, well, listen, save yourself a bit of cost there and get a guitar player, because the guitar is going to be brilliant for the recessional. You've songs like Take My Hand that can be really lively. So the guitar is so versatile. It can do the softer, more lovey-dovey songs. It can do the religious songs really nicely, and it can do the really lively songs as well.
So if somebody was asking you can come on your own or have a guitar player.
Exactly.
Is
or
there
piano.
Another tier then? Do you go up to 3 people there?
Yeah, I have a violinist that I work with regularly. As I said,
I always think a violin is lovely in church.
It's beautiful. It really is. It really, especially bigger churches, it just fills so wonderfully. Yeah.
So you're talking about 15 for standard church.
Yes. Yeah.
And that includes you're saying about 3 or 4 hymns. In and around to play it safe. And for a civil then, what's the story with a civil? Is that...
You know what? I've done civil ceremonies where they've had the bare minimum of 3 songs. That'll be your entrance, your register, and your exit.
It's a handy gig.
It is a handy gig. But it feels so weird because it's over in a flash. And then I did a wedding recently, Connor and Noel, who got married in Salthill Hotel, and they really put their own stamp on it, and they actually had a great guy, Dara. He performed the ceremony, and I think they had about seven songs in the full thing. And that was really nice because it was very personal.
Yeah.
And they had songs in different places as well, so you can a little bit more lenient with what you can do with the civil ceremony.
Yeah. And so when a couple, I suppose, where you put the songs in the ceremony then is the next thing. Like say they come to you and they've 10 favourite songs. What is there any advice you'd give them on what to put where? Start slow, kind of.
Not even. I think it depends on what's happening at the time. So in terms of any ceremony really, whether it's church or civil, the unity candle lighting, I always tell people, put your favourite song or the song that means the most to both of you as a couple, put that there, because at the unity candle you're lighting the marriage candle. It's the first thing you do as a newly married couple, so it should be a little bit more romantic. It should mean something to you.
And they're a bit nervous too.
This is it. So that's a really special moment. But in a civil ceremony, you can have a song in between the readings. You could have a song if they're having a sand ceremony, if they're having a candle lighting ceremony. So you can really make it your own. Yeah.
And what would be some of your favourites, or what's popular at the minute?
One of my favourite songs, I sing it. I sang it last weekend. A couple last year wanted me to learn it for them. It's a version of Bruce Springsteen's "If I Should Fall Behind."
Oh yeah.
And it's the version where there's a couple of them in the video, and it's an acoustic version. I must send it on to you. It's absolutely beautiful.
Is it where they all walk
walk
up to the
up?
microphone?
Yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous. I sang it for a couple last year. And I remember at the time, me and Mike were like, oh my God, how are we going to do our own version of this, because it's quite pared back.
You just have to keep walking away from the microphone.
But it's actually become one of my favourites, and my bride at the weekend, she walked up the aisle to it, so that's a gorgeous one. And then the usual, 1,000 years, How Long Will I Love You, there's such classics there, and people always say, oh, I don't want that, but they're popular for a reason.
It's a bit like later on with the band. They don't want the cheesy songs, but
they go down. It works.
They're the ones that work and fill the floor every time.
Exactly.
So would you have a preference, civil or church? If you got a phone call tomorrow for which one would you? I know you like work wise, it's less singing, but just in general, which one do you prefer?
In general, that's a tough. I never really thought about that before, to be honest. I think there's something. It depends on the celebrant.
Yeah.
It depends on the priest. It depends on who is conducting the ceremony. Yeah. I've done church ceremonies that have been hilarious.
Yeah.
We've all been in tears. We've all been laughing and joking because of how the priest has conducted the ceremony.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've done civil ceremonies where I thought, oh, this is going to be great, laid back, and it hasn't been.
Yeah.
So I really think it depends on the couple's relationship with who's conducting their ceremony.
I suppose the acoustics, because generally a civil's in a hotel too.
That's true.
That has to be hard.
I do always get a kick out of singing in a church, obviously because I'm classically trained, and people often ask, what's your favourite song to sing during, like you just did. I suppose I love to throw in maybe one classical song just so I can kind of show off a little bit. But and the church is great for that. But it depends really on who's conducting the ceremony.
Yeah. And I suppose then you're on to price for couples.
Yeah.
How does that?
I think ceremony music, especially church ceremony music or civil, whatever ceremony you're having, singers I think vary so much in price nowadays. And obviously you've got singers that don't do it full time, and that's fine. Then you've got singers like myself who are full time. But I think the term "you get what you pay for" it doesn't always apply. But on average, for two people, you'd be looking at between 400 and 500. But a solo singer by themselves who might accompany themselves, you could be looking at 300. So it really depends on what, how much you're paying for what you're getting.
Yeah.
But I mean, if people are thinking about how much they want to spend, and I think it's across the board. If you're a photographer, if you're a videographer, if you're a singer, if you're a cake maker, I think if you find a supplier and you love them, you love their work, then you'll pay what you want for the service that you're going to get.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could hear a singer and she might be half the price of me. That's just the way it is. But you might love her voice.
Yeah.
And she's worth every penny.
Yeah.
And others might absolutely love my voice, and then I'm worth every penny. So I think it depends on the couple.
And it's not just voice as well. I suppose it's, you know, you're professional.
This is it. There's so much more to it. There is a lot more to it.
When you go into a venue, you know kind of what's going to happen, that kind of thing. You do see other singers, I suppose, family, friends and stuff, where, you know, people are nodding at them to sing or to stop, and they don't really.
It's not as together.
Yeah.
And even I think you're paying for, even in the months running up to the wedding, you know, if I get a text or if I get an email, I'm going to respond to that email straight away. I have the answer straight away.
Yeah.
Whereas not every other person would, you know. If
so you're generally, if you're doing a budget, you're looking at about the 450 mark.
In between 400 and 500 that's for a two-piece. So let's say a singer with accompaniment.
Yeah. No, that's good to know, because, you know, even, you know, again, band and stuff, people come and say, well, my budget was this. And you're kind of thinking, well, where did you get your budget from?
Yeah, and people
you know?
hear the word band, and, you know, someone could be Mary could be saying, oh, my band was X amount, but...
Mary, you haven't got a band yet, have you?
I wasn't referring to you, Mary. Mary down the road. But, you know, you don't know if is that a two-piece, a three-piece, a four-piece, a five-piece.
Yeah, they just think a band is a band.
This is it, but it's not. There's
That's
so
the
much
same
more to
with a
it.
singer, church singers, but it's completely different.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you're classically trained, years of, you know, working at your craft and that kind of
Too
thing.
many years.
Yeah. And then, I suppose, is there anything there you want to add? What would be your top tips? You know, or what would you recommend if somebody was starting out looking for a ceremony singer that's important?
I think I go back to what I said a minute ago. If you hear someone and you love them, book them. Don't wait. It's kind of like, you know, when they say when you put on the dress, you know that it's the dress.
Yeah.
If music is a massive part of your day.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're walking up the aisle and there's a song playing, it's the first time people are going to see you.
Yeah. True.
It sets the atmosphere. When you're walking out of the church hand in hand with your partner, the music can completely change the atmosphere. So I think it can have a massive impact, you know, more than yourself with the band. You know, everyone says, you know, a great wedding, usually the band was brilliant and the food was great.
Yeah. Even if the food is bad, we'll make up for it.
Exactly, the band will make up for it.
We'll make them forget about it.
Yeah, and I mean, let's say if the ceremony, if the priest isn't as, you know, I don't know what the word is, but isn't as... If he's not interacting as much with the crowd, then the music can make up for that as well and really create an atmosphere. Yeah. So I would definitely, like with the dress, when you try it on, if you get the feeling, get it. If you hear a singer
just book them,
and they put tears in your eyes, book them.
Yeah. And where would you recommend a couple go? Like, are you in any Facebook groups or wedding websites?
Help Me, I'm Getting Married is great. Obviously, MyWeddingStore.ie is great.
Obviously, we're the best.
You're the best. Yeah, I was blown away, actually. I was blown away. It's my first time up here. Yeah. And I was blown away by the shop.
And it's in a mess as well. Like, so.
Huh? It's great. I just need a ring first to come up and splash the cash. Facebook is obviously a great platform. And then shows like this are great as well, because you get to know the suppliers. That's another thing. Get to know the people you're booking.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone. I think too many people hide behind emails.
They're very shy.
Yeah, they are.
Even what you find is when they inquire, they're very vague as well.
This is it.
You know,
and they're scared.
Like
It's like, ask me how much I am. I'm going to tell you what the price is.
Yeah.
And talk to me about what it is you want and how much you want, how much do you want. But I think definitely pick up the phone. I would always tell them, anyone who inquires, call me.
Yeah.
And we'll have a chat. And then when you get to know someone, you build up a trust as well. And it's important to trust who you book for the best day of your life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. And even just to relax, like we see a lot of people coming in here in the shop and they're worried about, in 2 weeks' time, and they heard a story and, this one let this one down, this kind of stuff. I'd say go for a professional ceremony singer. That's what I'd say. Because I know that, and what we see sometimes is, your cousin might be a great singer or that kind of thing, or Mary down the road.
Yeah.
But, and I think, would you have any objection with it, like where they go up and maybe just sing one song?
I do that all the time. Even this weekend, Ailish is getting married this weekend, and her two cousins are going to be accompanying me on harp and pipes, and her sister's also going to sing. So, I mean, that's lovely as well, because again, it makes it all more special for them. But at the same time, she has the reassurance that she's got a professional on hand. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. Exactly. That's, and then
following on from ceremony, you do the drinks reception
music. Yes, yeah.
Is that popular now?
It is. It's getting a lot more popular. I love it personally because you just get to see there's a complete change in all of the guests. You know, the way they stand. Everyone is just so much more chilled. It's like, yes, they're married. Brilliant. Let's go have a drink. And you get to interact with them as well, because usually I'm either up on a balcony or hiding around a pillar, you know, behind the microphone during the ceremony. Whereas then at the pre-reception, you can really interact. And I love introducing the couple into the room. Yeah. So let's say, for example, at the weekend, Kelly and Martin got married up in the Castle Court, and I could see the car arriving, and, you know, I huddle everyone, okay, phones out, folks, get ready for your pictures. And you get to invite them in, and, you know, I always make sure that I save my liveliest songs for when the couple are here, and then they dance into the hotel, and that makes such a difference to the photos, to the video. You know, it completely lifts the atmosphere. And Kelly's mother, actually, she was singing along and dancing in the pre-reception. So they're lovely memories, and they're captured obviously as well.
It kind of gets the party started.
This is it, yeah.
What kind of songs would you do?
It depends.
Is it kind of jazz, laid back?
It'd be a lot of modern stuff, actually.
Yeah.
With a little, you know, jazz favourites thrown in there. But myself and Mike have a pretty lively pre-reception set. As I said, you know, the guitar is probably be the most versatile and popular out of my instruments that I provide. But we do a really lively 2-piece set with harmonies, and it's great crack. Like, and you have people dancing, and I mean, we could take requests as well. So I think we did a wedding in February, and we got asked to do some AC/DC, and your man was just joking. But sure, myself and Mike, we threw out a bit of Shook Me All Night Long. So you never know what can happen.
Reception.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's getting it off to a good start.
Exactly.
For the night. And then, if that wasn't enough, you're in a band as well.
Yes, I am.
So you're just with the couple all day, basically.
Busy woman. Yeah, we get to know each other very well.
Do you do the residence bar as well?
No, I don't. I go home and I sleep.
Yeah, what band are you with?
So my band are called Clarity. It's a 5-piece band. I also have a 4-piece band called Lady and the Tramps, and that's more of a rocky kind of band. But Clarity would be the more popular wedding band. And like yourselves, you know, filling the dance floor all night is so important, and it means you have to do the pretty cheesy stuff, but, you know, we like to throw in a bit of everything. So it's nice and high energy.
It's always the, what do you call the cheesy stuff, you know, that works.
ABBA.
You know, and couples go, well, we actually haven't got ABBA in the set, but
have you not?
we always throw it in. But we couples that say, and the other funny thing is when a bride comes along and says, I want the floor full all night.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I want it full more than you do.
Yes, of course.
Because this is how we get our, you know, how we get our work. Like.
Yeah, of course.
So when it comes to, I suppose, ceremony, band, all that, do you travel all over Ireland?
All over the country.
Because Connemara, like, isn't... Everywhere's a bit of a trip.
This is true. I mean, I always say to the lads, you know, we would kind of meet maybe in Oranmore, kind of East Galway.
Yeah. And
the boys are all kind of pretty central to Galway. And I always say, boys, I'm getting into a car now and I have a 40-minute drive by myself and it's 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. That's the worst bit of the day. But we're all in Galway. But it can be a long day, but it's so fulfilling.
Yeah.
You know, and to see the tears as she walks up the aisle or he walks up the aisle or whatever it is, to see the mother dancing at the pre-reception, then to see the floor full all night. Yeah. It's great, you know.
You have to start doing discos now as well.
Discos, yeah. I just think I'd be a good DJ.
Well, I do the discos as well. That's when it gets long. If I'm doing the video until the disco.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it is long. It's a long day.
It can be quite long.
And the Friday is the Saturday then.
Yes.
So do you have many like ceremony to band and then Friday and Saturday?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, in the summer you'd be looking at Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's so weird. I have a lot of Monday weddings this summer. And I would love for everyone to get married on a midweek day because it's brilliant, because it means that maybe I'd have a Saturday off so I could go out on a Friday night. But
so you can have a chance to propose.
This is it. Yeah. I don't know if you will. But
if you listen there,
he probably is. Oh my God, I'm going to kill you.
Just saying, her and Mary are having a big conversation.
Oh, his mother's probably watching as well, you know.
Her and Mary were having a big conversation before the show about a ring, yeah.
Did we? Stop. Oh my God.
Mary has them all on her phone. Mary's gone red now too.
No, it's fine. The ring can stay where it is for another while.
Okay, right. So, what ceremony singer would you have? Put you on the spot.
Oh, I spoke about this in a recent blog that I wrote on my website. I wouldn't have a female singer.
No?
No. And whether that's me being a bit of a wagon or I don't know what it is, but in my blog I talked about it. My dad was a great singer.
Yeah.
And my granddad was a great singer, and I've grown up kind of listening to male voices in my family. And my dad plays guitar, so I think I'd probably have a male singer and guitarist.
Yeah.
And a lot of instrumental music. I love instrumentals on guitar. They're really, 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 really nice.
Yeah. Is there any male singers at the top of your head?
There's a guy who I studied with in college. His name is Peter O'Reilly. He's an absolutely outstanding tenor. Like, he's classically trained. He is unbelievable. And I first heard him, I'll never forget, we were in first year, and he sang Bring Him Home from Les Mis.
Oh, yeah.
One of my favourite songs, but you want to hear Peter sing it. He is just unbelievable. I was bawling crying when I heard him, so yeah. But he's fab. And then there's a singer in Galway. His name is Benjamin Turner. And he's a guitar player as well. And he's just, like, think Paolo Nutini, but 10 times better.
Yeah.
He's just got this amazing control and amazing quality to his voice. So either of those two and I'd be happy.
Yeah. Where you'd be, it would be Galway. And you'd be hotel wise. What hotels are close to Connemara?
I don't think I'll be getting married in Connemara. I don't think. I'll probably give them a little bit of a... No, I'll probably give them a little bit of a trip. A little bit of a holiday.
We're just going to plan it all here now. Live.
I'll go out and book the lanterns as well, so I will.
We'll catch her on the way out there.
Candy cart. Are you taking notes?
We'll get a booking.
Hotel-wise, I grew up beside the water.
Yeah.
I love the water. If I have a day off, if the weather's nice, I'm beside the water.
Yeah.
So I actually, we went on a little day trip to Anacarriga in Killaloo there yesterday, the day before yesterday. And it's absolutely stunning. It's right on the lake.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So probably somewhere like that.
Yeah. Okay. So what, overall, I suppose, top tips for couples in general? Say, actually, I forgot that. Do you do wedding fairs, or where do people get to see it?
Well, it depends. Last year I did a couple of them. I did the Ultimate Weddings Live. This year I'm pretty chock-block booking-wise, so I don't know if I'll get to many. I know I'm missing out on the Ultimate Weddings Live in Limerick this year, unfortunately. But if
that was a good show last year.
It was great. I got to meet a lot of couples, and delighted that I have so much work in Limerick this year and next year. And it's perfect because himself is from Limerick, so there you go. But people can come see me live if I sing all over the place, really. And it's always up on my Facebook page. I'm a regular, I'm a social media hound, as the boys call me. So if people want to come hear me, give me a message and I'll let you know where I am. But there's loads of videos up online as well. And most of them, as I said, are live. So
So I think we've covered everything there, really. So top tips, you would, average price, we said $450. And top tips would be basically, I think just book a professional. And you're saying book to whoever you like.
I think you get it. When you talk to a supplier, you get a feeling from them, and you know, if you trust them, and if they can give you what you want for the amount of money that you want to spend, book them. Obviously, you know, as you said, booking a professional, you have this other added element of a serious amount of experience. But I think as well, going into your wedding planning, I think it's important to know how much money you want to spend on what. I always say, like, if my mother was to renew her vows, she'd spend a fortune on flowers because she loves flowers. And she might not spend as much money on ceremony music. And I think that's important for people to know where you want to put most of your money.
No, that's true. I think we've covered it all there. So where can somebody get in touch with you?
You can find me on Kayla McDonagh Wedding Music on Facebook, and then my website is www.weddingsingeриreland.ie. And then I have a Snapchat, so you can find me Kayla-music. But really Facebook and the website would be the two main platforms.
And you have loads of live videos.
Loads of live videos.
And you have top tip videos on your.
I have a how to choose your church ceremony music, so that talks you through every single part of the ceremony and where to put the song and what type of song to choose. It's still,
like, even for me, you know, when we do the videos, you see.
You probably can't remember.
No, you can't.
Exactly.
And you're saying, you know, bits and pieces there. I'm like, what?
But that's good though, because it obviously means that it kind of all blends in, and it should. It
does blend in.
It should be one big kind of show, if you can describe it like that. You shouldn't be feeling, oh, your one's gone off singing a song and there's nothing happening. You know, that shouldn't really happen. It should all feel like it's supposed to happen. And that's important.
That's the worst thing about it. How are you on? You know, if you have a sore throat or that, you can't really hide in the church.
See, this is it, and like I'm classically trained, so I suppose I have some tips and tricks and some little recovery warm-ups that I would do.
Yeah.
I'm so blessed. I mean, I've been sick doing weddings, but thankfully you wouldn't know it. I think I put up a video a couple of weeks ago. I was dying sick and I still had to do a wedding.
Yeah.
And I took a video just to prove that, you know what, it's like, you know, it's like if there's something wrong with your car, you call a mechanic, they get it going again.
True, yeah.
You know, if you're a proper singer, if you've been trained, if you have all the tools, you know how to get your voice back in shape.
Yeah.
And I'm very careful. I have syrups and lozenges, and I steam my throat and everything. So I do take care of it. It's my money maker. It's everything. So
yeah. And what, like, worst case scenario, have you any backup?
Worst case scenario, I do. I have some great friends in the business, great singers in the business. So God forbid there'd ever be a situation, I have got the backup there. And the brides have a choice. Well, the couples have a choice. I would always give a choice as to, you know, because obviously they might love me but might not like the singer I pass on. So you have to give them a choice.
Would you be, you were saying before, friends of Nicola Maguire and
yes,
Alva
Nicola
Hession,
Maguire, Alva Hession, Jenny O'Brien, Carol Merrigan. Galway, we've some fab singers in Galway.
There's no shortage of good ceremony singers in Galway. Well, I think that's it, Kayla. I think we've covered everything. Check out website again.
WeddingSingerIreland.ie.
And you're on Facebook. You've got loads of videos on Facebook, loads of live videos. And one other thing, I suppose, if somebody sees you on the website, get in touch and book as soon as they can.
Yes, 2019 there's already dates in the diary for 2019.
It's all random, you know, because you know you might have a date available, say next year, but the one they want is
this is it.
You know,
and like
so once you know, you should jump in and book.
I don't really hold dates. Obviously, if I get an inquiry is obviously not enough to hold a date. So once you inquire and once make sure you
deposit
€50 deposit. I keep it nice and simple. So it's a low deposit as well.
Yeah, that is relatively low, isn't it? Yeah, but nobody can.
But in turn, when you're putting it against, you know, it's 450. You know, if it was 100, exactly.
Yeah. But and do you get, like, I suppose cancellation wise, like all of us, I've only ever had the odd one.
I've had 2 since I started. So that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but
yeah, we'd have, I think, maybe one a year.
Yeah, that'd be the same for me.
We went 2 years without any. That was great.
Yeah.
But and then there was 1 or 2 that, because Cromlock Lodge, you know, Cromlock Lodge closed down a few years ago. Yeah. You get venues like that.
Yeah.
And you try to move the dates around, but sure you can't. You know.
This is it. Yeah.
You can't do it. So I think that's everything, Kayla. We've everything covered. Thanks for coming all the way from Connemara.
Not at all. It was
5.5 hour drive home for you.
Well, in this weather, it's not too bad. The scenery is beautiful. So
no, it is. Yeah. No, thanks for coming down. And let me see. Hopefully next week. Thanks to Mary for manning the phones. Hopefully next week, Mick and Richard will be back, and I'll be over there again on my desk. So Kayla, thanks for coming down.
Thank you so much.
And we are going to say goodbye. If you have any comments for Kayla, you leave them in the comment sections below, or just email us, and check out our website and Facebook page. We'll have you tagged and all that.
Perfect,
anyway. Yeah. And we'll have the proper edited version up tomorrow. So, I think we're going to go with that. See you later. Say bye. You have to wave.
Bye, guys.
Bye.